In quiet and serene Brandon, Florida, a peaceful ambience is shattered by the sound of gunshots. A shocking scene unfolds as the victim is revealed. A devoted mother, grandmother, caretaker, and teacher's aide who was a pillar of her community, known for her compassion and dedication. She had recently found new love, and her life seemed to be blossoming. However, just when it appeared she was on a positive path, this tragic turn of events leaves her family, friends, and community in shock. Meanwhile, detectives are working tirelessly to find answers. What happens when love becomes fatal? This is a Fatal Attraction podcast with Eyes of a Killer.
November 6th, 2019. It's Wednesday night in Brandon, Florida, a sprawling suburb just east of Tampa.
If you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, Brandon's where you go.
It's known as kind of a quiet, sleepy town, all-American, and just a good place to raise a family.
You don't really hear about a lot of crime, especially violent crimes going on in Brandon.
But even safe communities can be rocked by violence. At around 8:30 that evening, Hillsborough County 911 receives a flurry of frightened calls.
911, police emergency?
There was just gunshots fired at our apartment complex.
How many shots did you hear?
I heard 3 shots. I was there by myself and I heard all those gunshots.
This was a newer apartment complex, very expensive.
For everybody that was within earshot, that was a shocking sound to hear.
But the real shock is what residents see outside their windows.
Someone got shot. Someone is on the ground.
Is she awake and breathing?
Oh, no, I don't want to go down there.
Everybody is afraid.
Their quiet evening is shattered by violence.
Everyone was locking their doors, pulling down the shades.
We've got help on the way out there, okay?
When first responders arrive, they find exactly what the callers described. Someone sprawled on the ground next to a car.
I need some help!
This woman lying on the ground is an African-American woman. She's wearing nursing scrubs.
Stay with me.
The doors of the car were flung open, and there was a pool of blood.
And at least one resident of the complex is doing everything he can to help her.
He had his own shirt off, trying to stop the blood coming from her body.
As first responders take over, the resident is able to give them the woman's identity.
What's her name?
Renee Williams.
"55-year-old Renee Williams always put others before herself.
If you knew Renee, then you knew that her life mission was to help people.
Renee Williams was a doting mom. She was a great mom to her children and grandchildren and the children in the community.
She had a part-time job as caretaker for disabled adults, but she also was the teacher's aide.
She was somebody who really took pleasure, took joy in helping students, helping them learn to read, helping them in their classes.
It wasn't about the pay, it was the payoff, making sure that people knew that they were cared about.
Renee's students weren't the only ones she cared about either. She looked out for the entire staff at her school.
She never thought that she was above anyone. Instead, she brought everybody up, whether it was a custodian, whether it was the younger teachers.
Renee, you did not have to do all this.
Oh, it's no problem. You know, I really enjoy this. You know I do.
And is this for me?
It is.
Girl, you are too sweet. Oh my goodness.
I appreciate you, and I adore you.
I appreciate you.
She was just an amazing human being, and that comes from the mouths of everyone who knew and loved her.
But as fulfilling as Renee's work was, there was still something missing.
Renee had raised her children. She now had grandchildren. And while they filled a certain void, there was still this place that she was saving for someone special.
As much as she gave, she also wanted to receive.
As humans, we want to have someone to come home to or to talk about and confide in.
And in May of 2019, she may have finally found that someone.
Hey, did someone call about an ant problem?
Oh, sure. Yep, right over in that area.
Richard Miller was an exterminator. Blue-collar, hard-working guy. People described him as a big teddy bear. Somebody who was goofy, who was fun, somebody who was caring and loving.
He was the guy that, while big in stature, was even bigger in heart.
Recently divorced, he was also single and looking to get back into the dating game.
All done?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, were you doing anything this weekend?
Are you asking me out?
Well, I guess I am.
Richard was a jokester, a fun-loving guy. He was kind, he was generous.
And don't you go change your mind on me now.
I won't.
I think that the reason that Richard and Renee hit it off was because they were both seasoned. They knew what they wanted out of life, what they wanted from love.
And what they wanted was something comfortable and casual.
There was no drama with Richard.
It's easygoing, it's fun.
She thought she found her guy.
He was someone she could see spending her golden years with.
But now, instead of enjoying the best years of her life, Renee's been found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds outside of a client's apartment.
At this point, Renee Williams is clinging to life.
She has a pulse, and they have put her on an ambulance and take her to the hospital.
As the ambulance pulls away, the officers at the scene turn to the concerned neighbors who've gathered nearby.
Shots ring out, and a lot of the neighbors either look out of the windows or come outside their apartment.
And one neighbor in particular has vital information.
I saw a guy walk away from his car. He had a gun.
He saw the shooter walking away from the scene.
Stay tuned as we unravel the events that unfolded in the peaceful town of Brandon, Florida. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
This episode brought to you by Predator Badlands. On November 7th, the biggest, wildest adventure of the year, Predator Badlands comes to theaters everywhere, including 3D and IMAX. Predator Badlands comes from Dan Trachtenberg, director of the recent beloved Predator films Prey and Predator, Killer of Killers. In this film, the Predator is banished to a planet where everything is trying to kill him. See what it takes for a Predator to earn its title, the deadliest hunter in the universe. Sounds like this is gonna be one of them ones. Predator Badlands, in theaters everywhere, November 7th, in 3D and IMAX.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Hey, what's up? This is Alfreda's with the Urban One Podcast Network. Let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Chamberlain University. There's a pattern among successful people in any industry. They surround themselves with the right support. And in healthcare, that support starts at Chamberlain University. For over 130 years, Chamberlain has been helping nurses and healthcare professionals fulfill their calling. It's the largest nursing school in the country, offering flexible learning, real mentorship, and a network of over 160,000 professionals. Because progress isn't just about working harder. It's about having the right people in your corner. You got this, and Chamberlain has got you. Get started at chamberlain.edu.Chamberlain University. Belong to something greater. Certified to operate by Chev.
After years of helping others, it looked as if Renee Williams had finally found someone for herself.
Richard met a lot of the criteria on Renee's list. He had a job. He was a good guy.
No frills, nothing fancy, but he was loving and he treated Renee with respect.
I think that Richard, much like Renee, wanted to find love. And when they found each other, it looked like love had an opportunity to come forth.
It was supposed to be a romance to last the rest of her life.
But how long that will be is suddenly in doubt.
She'd been shot multiple times while leaving a client's apartment.
She's clinging to life. She has 2 gunshots in her chest area, a gunshot in her hip area.
While EMTs rush Renee to the hospital, officers at the scene are already getting their first tip on the suspect.
I saw a guy walk away from his car. He had a gun. His car had a gun?
Officers secured the witness in a patrol car for the detectives and then started blocking off the rest of the crime scene.
When detectives arrive, their first order of business is speaking to the witness who saw the shooter.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay. Can you tell me what you heard or what you saw tonight?
The witness said he was the apartment manager and that he was inside watching television when he heard 3 or 4 loud bangs in rapid succession.
When I heard that shots, I looked in the window right away.
He said that at first he didn't know they were gunshots.
There was a lot of teenagers living in this complex, so he assumed they were fireworks at first.
You know, since I'm a manager, you know, if there's a fireworks or whatever, I have to go outside and let them know, hey, you can't do that here.
When he happened to glance out the window, he saw a large, heavy-set black male in his 30s or 40s with bald head walking past.
Pretty big guy?
Oh, yeah, big guy.
Do you see his face?
No, I barely saw her face. But my wife, she was parked right next to them when she left.
The apartment manager says that his wife was leaving and she saw Renee and the man in question as well.
The manager's wife had left approximately 30 minutes prior to the shooting.
When detectives follow up with the manager's wife, she is able to add a lot more information.
There was a car parked right next to my car. There was the woman sitting in the driver's seat. The gentleman had the door all the way open, and he was kind of like kneeled inside her car.
She couldn't hear what they were saying.
They were very quiet.
But she could tell that this was not a friendly conversation.
She noticed Renee Williams was crying as she was sitting in that motor vehicle.
I just assumed, you know, she was upset.
She tried to get out of the parking space, but he was actually blocking the ability for her to leave that space.
I waited a little bit, thinking maybe he saw me, that he would close the door a little bit for me to back up, because I would have hit the car if I tried to back up.
Okay.
So I inched my way a little bit. He still didn't see me. I did it again, and then he turned and looked at me. He closed the door a little bit, and then I kind of waved at him saying thank you. Mm-hmm. There was no emotion, no smile, nothing on his face.
She couldn't get over the fact of how his eyes looked. They looked cruel.
And had you ever seen either of these people before?
I've seen her before. I have a neighbor right across from me, and she was his caregiver.
Okay. And what about the gentleman that was with her?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
However, she does think she could identify him if she saw him again.
She wasn't some distance away. She was 4 or 5 feet away.
And she isn't detective's only witness.
Come on, check it out.
One of Renee's co-workers had also gotten a look at the suspected shooter.
He was coming in to relieve her. This client they had needed round-the-clock coverage.
She said bye and said bye back to her, and she walked to her vehicle, and I began to give my clients his routine medications, and then he has a dog and to go outside for a walk.
He tells police that once he was outside with the dog, he noticed that Renee was sitting in her car in the parking lot.
She saw me, she said hi, I said hi back to her.
He also saw what he described as a larger, heavy-set African-American male kneeling in the doorway next to where Renee was.
There's nothing else I need to hear!
He saw her and this man engaged in a very tense, it looked like very intense conversation.
All I could hear in that conversation, she was saying something about, I'm stressed out.
He said he didn't want to pry, so he put his headphones in and went about his business.
And he went back into the apartment. A few minutes later, he heard what he believed to be fireworks.
I heard 3 loud big bangs. I didn't think nothing of it.
That is, until he heard the sirens approaching.
He looked out and realized that Renee was now lying in a pool of blood.
So this witness corroborates everything that everyone else has said.
His descriptions matched the other witnesses, but he also didn't recognize the man he saw with Renee.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before detectives move on to try to ID their shooter, they have one more witness to speak with, the man who'd been trying to save Renee's life.
He also lived in the complex, taking care of his elderly mother.
Are you in the medical field?
I have EMT training.
Okay. So you knew where to look for a pulse?
Yeah.
When he saw Renee bleeding on the pavement, he didn't hesitate to rush to her aid.
Renee? God, okay.
He had his shirt off, trying to use this shirt to stop the blood flowing from her.
You're okay.
I just, did what I could.
But will the neighbor's quick thinking be enough to save her? Detectives are still at the scene when they receive word from the hospital.
Sadly, Renee passed away at the hospital.
There were no life-saving measures that could have changed the outcome.
What was an assault has now been upgraded to a murder.
What you got? She didn't make it.
Detectives have received word that Renee Williams has just died in surgery.
She succumbed to the injuries, the 3 gunshot wounds that she received.
This was crazy, especially in a community like Brandon, Florida. It's a safe community.
Is it a random act of violence? Is it a robbery or carjacking?
Based on clues at the scene, detectives are fairly certain that isn't the case.
Purse wasn't taken. Key's still there in the car. The car is still there.
Common sense tells you that if she was a target of a robbery, some of her valuables would have been taken.
Witnesses also said she had been talking to the suspected shooter for some time before the shots were fired.
They could tell that there was some kind of confrontation going on.
It had to be personal.
Detectives don't know what the man wanted from Renee, but they are fairly sure of one thing.
It didn't go the way that he wanted it to go.
Renee could have been telling the assailant, hey, leave me alone.
I think that's when that gun came out.
Then Renee's killer had calmly walked away.
The offender didn't care if there were witnesses.
People saw this man.
Who in the world would shoot somebody to death in a parking lot where there are hundreds of other residents?
This was not someone that lived in the complex because everybody said that they did not recognize him.
All witnesses are able to give detectives is a general description of Renee's killer.
They all describe seeing an African-American male between 5'9" and 6'2", bald head, larger build.
Hoping to learn more, the detectives keep knocking on doors around the complex.
They are interviewing multiple people.
There were lots of people who heard the shots, but they were unable to find anyone who could tell them any more about the shooting or how the killer fled.
And electronic surveillance is unable to fill the gaps.
The apartment complex where Miss Williams was killed does not have surveillance video.
No one had any doorbell cam or cell phone video of the suspect either.
One would think that with as much technology, as much cameras are there, that something would have been seen on camera. In this case, there was absolutely no videos showing who the shooter was.
As detectives are wrapping up what they can do at the scene, Renee's son arrives at the apartment complex looking for his mother.
At first, people were like, this is kind of suspicious.
In these cases, everybody is a potential suspect until they're not. So law enforcement starts questioning him. Well, why are you here?
At that point, the police hadn't yet notified Renee's next of kin.
So everybody's eyebrows are raised with the son because they're like, how did you know?
So what made you come over here?
She ain't answering the phone.
Okay, she answered her phone. She usually answers her phone?
Well, she usually be home.
Was she supposed to be home at a certain time?
Yeah.
What time?
Like at 8:15, 8:30.
He attempted to call his mom. When she didn't answer, he raced over to where he knew she would be working.
He knew what her schedule was.
So he was really a son checking up on his mom.
That's when detectives give him the bad news.
Okay. So we are working a shooting where a female that was in that car has been shot and unfortunately is deceased.
He's obviously upset when he learned that his mother was killed.
Take a deep breath, man.
When Renee's son recovers his composure, he tells detectives that his mother had recently been afraid of something or someone.
Every time she used to ask me to come outside when she get on work.
She would ask you to come outside and escort her inside the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she say why?
She felt it.
This is tough, man. She felt what?
She thought you followed her.
But if that's the case, who was he?
The son is asked who might have done this. Does she have any enemies?
He right away started blurting out who he thinks the suspect is.
His name is Richard.
More questions are being answered and more truth is being revealed. Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
This episode brought to you by Predator Badlands. On November 7th, the biggest, wildest adventure of the year. Predator Badlands comes to theaters everywhere, including 3D and IMAX. Predator Badlands comes from Dan Trachtenberg, director of the recent beloved Predator films Prey and Predator Killer of Killers. In this film, the Predator is banished to a planet where everything is trying to kill him. See what it takes for a Predator to earn its title, the deadliest hunter in the universe. Sounds like this is gonna be one of them ones. Predator Badlands, in theaters everywhere, November 7th, in 3D and IMAX.
Tickets on sale now.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Hey, what's up? This is Alfreda's with the Urban One Podcast Network. Let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Chamberlain University. There's a pattern among successful people in any industry. They surround themselves with the right support. And in healthcare, that support starts at Chamberlain University. For over 130 years, Chamberlain has been helping nurses and healthcare professionals fulfill their calling. It's the largest nursing school in the country, offering flexible learning, real mentorship, and a network of over 160,000 professionals. Because progress isn't just about working harder. It's about having the right people in your corner. You got this, and Chamberlain has got you. Get started at chamberlain.edu.Chamberlain University. Belong to something greater. Certified to operate by Chev.
Questioned by detectives after he'd shown up at the crime scene, Renee Williams' son says he thinks he knows who gunned down his mother outside the suburban Tampa apartment complex.
The first thing he says is, Richard did it.
Who is Richard?
That's a dude she was dating a couple months ago.
Do you know his last name?
No.
Okay, and are they still dating?
No.
She had broken it off with him.
About how long ago was that?
Like a month ago.
Did she say why?
She couldn't deal with no more.
Could the breakup be a motive for murder?
Some people cannot handle rejection.
Breakups are hard. You know, if one person still feels like they want to be in a relationship and the other person doesn't.
Some men think that they have ownership of the person. If you say, I'm dating you or you're my girlfriend, then they feel like they have ownership. And how dare you say no to me or you don't want to see me anymore?
But did it lead to Renee's death? It seems plausible to the detectives.
In cases like this, one of the first people law enforcement look to is a significant other or an ex-significant other of the victim.
The son did say that Richard did match that description that witnesses have come forward with.
Yeah, he's big, black, he kind of got a bald head, heavy set.
But does that mean Richard is their suspect?
This was a very generic description.
Has he threatened her before? No?
Not really, no.
Did she ever say specifically that she was afraid of Richard? No. Okay.
He cannot point to any past incidents of violence, could not point out to any arguments, any threats that Richard's ever made against his mother.
This is what you're feeling?
All he could say is, it was just a hunch.
But then you ask a question that makes you go,
What kind of gun he got?
That's an odd question to ask somebody, especially a detective, knowing that your mother has just been killed.
The detectives certainly were taken by surprise.
What makes you ask that?
Because my gun was stolen.
Okay. Tell me about that.
This happened, my gun was stolen, in the end of July.
Was it taken from your house? Did you last know to have it at your house?
It was my car.
Car? And what car?
In my car.
Okay. All right. And what kind of gun was it?
According to our son, his gun was a .45 caliber firearm.
It matches the murder weapon.
Was it reported at all?
Yes.
It was? Through the sheriff's office? Do you have the paperwork for it, for serial number or anything still?
Yes.
He said he can produce the receipts, but now law enforcement must be thinking, well, why is he mentioning this to us now? Why is he asking us about this firearm?
Anything else you can tell me?
That's the only person that I believe did it.
Richard, it did what? You're talking about stealing your gun or you're talking about harming your mom?
He believes that Richard is the person who killed his mother.
After finishing with Renee's son, detectives head back to the station to dig up background info on Richard.
Renee's son didn't know about any violence from Richard toward his mom, but it would be able to give them a better idea of who this guy was.
However, detectives don't get far before they receive urgent information from the 911 dispatch center.
A few hours after the shooting, a 911 call is made to law enforcement that provides the biggest break in the case.
911, what is your emergency?
The woman on the other end said that her ex-husband just shot his girlfriend.
He said he did it. And I said, did what? He told me that he killed her. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I'm actually feared for my safety.
The caller on that other end of that phone was the ex-wife of Richard Miller.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
This episode brought to you by Predator Badlands. On November 7th, the biggest, wildest adventure of the year. Predator Badlands comes to theaters everywhere, including 3D and IMAX. Predator Badlands comes from Dan Trachtenberg, director of the recent beloved Predator films Prey and Predator Killer of Killers. In this film, the Predator is banished to a planet where everything is trying to kill him. See what it takes for a Predator to earn its title, the deadliest hunter in the universe. Sounds like this is gonna be one of them ones. Predator Badlands, in theaters everywhere, November 7th, in 3D and IMAX.
Tickets on sale now.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Hey, what's up? This is Alfreda's with the Urban One Podcast Network. Let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Chamberlain University. There's a pattern among successful people in any industry. They surround themselves with the right support. And in healthcare, that support starts at Chamberlain University. For over 130 years, Chamberlain has been helping nurses and healthcare professionals fulfill their calling. It's the largest nursing school in the country, offering flexible learning, real mentorship, and a network of over 160,000 professionals. Because progress isn't just about working harder. It's about having the right people in your corner. You got this, and Chamberlain has got you. Get started at chamberlain.edu.Chamberlain University. Belong to something greater. Certified to operate by Chev.
Richard Miller's ex-wife has called 911 claiming he'd confessed to shooting his girlfriend, Renee Williams.
And when did he tell you this? Maybe about half an hour ago.
In person?
Yes.
According to Richard's ex-wife, he'd shown up at her house just as she was leaving to go to the store.
I seen him parked behind my car, and then I asked him, I said, what's your problem?
The ex-wife is confused on why he's acting the way he's acting. He's a little erratic. He's a little odd acting. What's wrong with you?
He looks disheveled. He looks upset. And he says something to her. Are you ready for this?
That's when he confessed.
I did. He said he did it. And I said, did what? He told me that he killed her.
I don't know what was going through that ex-wife's mind. I would be scared.
I asked him, why would he come tell me? Why come tell me? I don't need to know that information. That wasn't from him to come tell me. Then he told me that he was going to harm himself.
Because I might kill myself next.
Okay, just calm down, okay?
She was extremely worried.
And not just about Richard.
If he's willing to harm himself, is he also willing to harm her as well?
Dispatch passes the ex-wife's information onto the detectives investigating Renee's murder. But is the tip the breakthrough it appears to be?
They don't know if it's true. Did Richard really tell her that?
There is a chance that the ex-wife may have ulterior motives.
You know the old saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Maybe she had an axe to grind. Maybe she just wanted to get Richard in trouble.
False tips are always part of a risk the police have to take, especially as an ex-wife where they doesn't know what kind of relationship they have. Is she trying to get revenge on him?
Hoping for more information, the detectives have Richard's ex-wife come in for a formal statement.
If you don't mind having a seat right here, please.
You called the sheriff's office to report something that someone had said to you. Is that correct so far?
Yes, sir. He said, I did it. And I said, what did you do?
Richard says that Renee was playing him, that she was playing with his emotions, and she was playing with his feelings.
Then he said, I killed her.
She said, at some point in this conversation, Richard said that he's gonna kill himself.
He kept saying, well, I might pull back up your house and you might hear a bang and I might off myself in your yard.
I can only imagine what she was going through.
If I was her, I'd be scared to death.
But only if she is telling the truth.
Did he describe how he did what he did?
I think she cares for someone, and I think she came out maybe to her car or something, and someone else was out maybe taking the trash, but he said he don't think he really seen him. He went back in the house, and I guess that's when he did what he did.
Did he say exactly what he did?
He did say he shot her about 3 times.
The fact that the ex-wife knew the number of shots tells me that this statement is true and legit.
The information that she reported to law enforcement is corroborated by the testimony of the eyewitnesses.
The only question that remains is why Richard would tell her all of this.
She let it know that for many, many reasons. They were still close after the divorce.
It's unique that a killer would tell his ex-wife, but I think that a lot of people would confide in someone that they trust.
People that are dealing with this heavy burden have to talk to somebody.
Whatever Richard's motivation was for telling his ex about the shooting, she hadn't hesitated in going to the police.
That's the reason why I called, because I figured that I had to.
Well, you're doing the right thing.
The ex-wife is really the key thing in this case. She ties everything together for law enforcement.
But can she also help the detectives take him into custody?
When the police asked his ex-wife if she would call to help arrange a surrender or to help talk him down, she quickly says no.
Her reasoning behind not wanting to do this is she said that she thought it would agitate Richard.
If he knows that I even talked to you guys, he probably would shut down.
Okay.
After speaking with Richard's ex-wife, law enforcement moves to surround his house in northeast Tampa.
Richard Miller. This is the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. Come out with your hands raised.
Richard was cornered. He's got nowhere to go.
This is one of the scariest parts of this whole scenario.
Would he give himself up?
He's already threatened suicide. Is he going to start shooting at the police?
We call that suicide by cop.
Stay tuned as we unravel the events that unfolded in the peaceful town of Brandon, Florida. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Law enforcement has surrounded the Tampa, Florida home of Renee Williams' boyfriend, Richard Miller.
According to what Richard's ex-wife told detectives, he'd confessed to shooting and killing Renee as she left work on the night of November 6th.
She called law enforcement and reported what he told her, with intimate details and facts that established that she was credible.
She also told detectives that Richard had threatened to kill himself.
And when the SWAT team outside the house calls on Richard to surrender, the result is a tense standoff.
We have you surrounded. Come out with your hands above your head.
They don't know if Richard is willing to kill one of them or just raise his guns in an act of suicide.
There's a great chance that Richard's not going to get out of this alive.
After several tense moments, Richard emerges from the house.
At the door.
His hands in the air.
Richard Miller walks out and peacefully surrenders.
Stop right there.
We have a volatile situation that was able to de-escalate.
You have to hand it to the law enforcement here in Hillsborough County. They avoided a much more tragic situation that could have harmed their officers, other people in the community.
With Richard in custody, detectives move inside and search the house.
In their search, the police found what would be assumed to be the murder weapon. It was the .45 caliber handgun.
It was the same caliber as the shell casings found at the scene.
The serial number isn't a match for the gun Renee's son reported stolen, but that makes little difference for the murder investigation.
By now, the police are fairly confident with all the evidence they have that Richard is the killer.
Not that his arrest is much comfort to those who loved Renee.
The school that she had spent years working at was extremely saddened. Her principal, all her teachers she worked with at school, everybody appeared to be devastated.
There were grief counselors and crisis counselors that were dispatched to the school.
She was just such an integral part of the community, constantly giving back.
Renee was one of those kind of people that when you were in her presence, you felt blessed. So much so that the end of life for her left such an indelible hole that it was necessary for there to be somebody there to help them work through this process.
The community is still grieving when Richard goes on trial in January of 2022.
Prosecutors go in feeling very, very strong about their case.
Richard Miller was a man obsessed. He was obsessed with the victim in this case, Renee Williams.
The prosecutors talked about a relationship that was over. They showed text messages and phone calls going back and forth of her saying she wanted nothing more to do with him.
And according to prosecutors, the most telling of all was the last text he ever sent to Renee.
Never play with a person. They're dangerous.
What that tells me is that he was boiling over, he was stewing in the rejection.
It drove him to take her life rather than to let her go on without him.
So he waits outside of her job. He confronts her. And evidently he didn't like what Renee said.
Renee, please, I just need to talk to you.
What are you doing here? Talk about what?
Little did Renee know that Richard had a loaded .45 on him.
I can't do it no more.
Renee,
just
please.
leave me alone. I can't take it.
Come on, Renee.
It's over.
You're
I
done?
can't do it, Richard.
You're done?
Yes. What are you doing, Richard? What are you doing?
This guy shot her at close range with a .45 3 times. You don't survive that.
He decided to take the life, the very life of someone he claimed he loved. He shot her and he killed her. How selfish was that? You claim to love this person who brought such great joy into your life, and instead of letting them live that life, you bring sorrow. Talk about selfish. I can't think of a more heinous and brutal way to show how selfish he was.
To prove that it was Richard who pulled the trigger, the prosecutors put the apartment manager, his wife, and Renee's co-worker on the stand.
They all identified Richard Miller as the person who shot Renee Williams.
The prosecutors also put Richard's ex-wife on the stand.
Her testimony didn't go quite the way they planned.
When she was put on the witness stand, she was reluctant. She refused to go into the details that she did with law enforcement.
Do you recall telling the police that he told you I killed her?
I don't.
Maybe she felt that she wasn't being loyal. Maybe she felt that she was betraying him.
Maybe she was afraid that if Richard got off, that he would come after her next.
Whatever her reasons, the prosecutors were left scrambling.
What they thought was such a strong case, they may end up getting blown out.
But it's unlikely.
The prosecutor played back Richard's ex-wife's own 911 call.
He said he did it. And I said, did what? He told me that he killed her.
Of course, her 911 call was recorded, so now she can't really backtrack what she said.
In the end, it all comes down to what the jury believes.
It took a jury 2 hours to convict Richard Miller of premeditated first-degree murder.
Last-minute quick thinking of the prosecution possibly saved this whole case.
He was sentenced to life in prison by the judge, without parole. He'll be spending the rest of his life in prison.
It's a welcome development in the fight for justice for Renee.
Without a doubt, I think it was an appropriate verdict.
The family was very relieved when they heard about the quick guilty verdict.
The community rejoiced, and that now Renee could finally rest in peace.
But at the end of the day, Renee's absence will still leave a gaping hole in her family, her school, and community.
The school loved Renee so much that they decided to dedicate a memorial garden in her honor because she impacted that school in ways that only she could.
All murder is sad. All murders can be senseless, but it always cuts a bit deeper when the victim is somebody whose life was literally spent helping others and giving back to others.
Renee Williams was exemplary in the way she transcended across all boundaries to reach out and touch and help people. Always giving, always being there, always providing that ear of comfort to those who needed her.
My mother used to talk about the fact that there were angels amongst us. I believe that Renee was one of those angels. And we can only hope that some of the people that Renee touched will go on to touch others, and they'll pay it forward.
Throughout life and in relationships, we encounter breakups that can lead to heartache and leave us with unanswered questions. However, the absence of love should never drive us to commit an unforgivable act, such as taking the life of a beloved grandmother, mother, caretaker, and teacher's aide. Renee Williams was a pillar of her community, known for her compassion and dedication. She embodied the spirit of love and kindness and will always be remembered by those who cherished her. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Hey! Hi!
She was a confident young woman making the most out of life.
She had this positive vibe, positive spirit. She was like a happy-go-lucky person.
Everybody loved her.
And her zest for life caught the eye of a charming older man.
Angel, is that you?
They had reconnected later in life.
They enjoyed each other's company.
She was in love and went straight into a relationship.
Until a brutal crime tore them apart.
A 31-year-old woman known for her sparkling personality and zest for life, she embodies joy and ambition. When fate brings her face to face with someone from her past, a spark ignites, and the reunion adds a new dimension to her life, emphasizing the potential for a true romance. However, a frantic call to the police forever alters her life. What happened that early morning in Alton, Illinois? Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.